everyone. This is Level with Me. This is my level design streaming thing where I play through games and talk about what I think the level design is doing. And today we are playing some more Black Mesa Source, a remake of Half-Life 1 and the Half-Life 2 engine that I used to work on, did some level design texturing for long time ago. But now I want to see what they've been up to. We've been playing Black Mesa for the better part of this year. I'm just pretty slow. Been playing roughly 1 hour a week for like the past few months. So let's try to get into it. Today we're going to start a chapter called Lambda Core. Lambda Core is, I think, one of the better chapters of Half-Life. It's a little bit non-linear feeling. Feels there's like a hub and spoke kind of flow to it. It's also pretty well done. I think the main level designer who did a lot of the early work on it, Jean-Paul Jarreau, he did a pretty good job on it, I think. So let's see what's going on. Hello, Tin Kelp. Oh, hello, Max. Hello, Trundle's bot. Hope everyone's doing okay. Especially if you're in the US like me, where the pandemic is just never gonna end. But let's just let's shoot some aliens, and maybe it'll take our mind off of it for a little bit. All right, so this is the beginning of Lambda Core. See, it starts in this. So when I think of Lambda Core, I actually think of very like clean shapes and clean texturing. So I think it's an interesting choice to start Lambda Core in kind of this transition kind of space with the previous chapter. If you watch the stream from last week, Forget About Freeman was a chapter that was very, very concrete, very bunkery, very lot of tunnels and stuff. It felt just kind of like dirty and cluttered and underground and grungy kind of. Lambda Core, I think, is very much opposite of that. So here we kind of see the two styles of these chapters clashing a little bit. Here we have this concrete wall that we probably won't really see much of in the next few rooms, and then we have these pretty like clean sweeping curves right here, right? Like notice just how clean that texturing is versus the rest of this wall, right? It's almost like I would argue that two different level designers built this, right? One person built this arch, and then one person maybe did a lot of this like texturing or built the previous sections. And I think it's always fun to see how two different designers, how their styles and construction styles clash. I mean, or maybe not clash. Clash is maybe the wrong word here. Intersect is maybe the better word here. It's something you don't really get with games like Doom or something, or Quake, where there's a very sharp demarcation between the maps and chapters. What's fun about Half-Life is that it maybe not pioneered, but like popularized this thing where you have the level transition room, right? It's supposed to be smooth and continuous, and that's supposed to be more immersive and realistic or whatever. It kind of predicts a future where now a lot of action shooter games put a lot of work into their level streaming technology, right? Half-Life was kind of a precursor to that, right? Trying to make everything feel continuous, like one really long level. So when you do that kind of structure with your campaign, now you have to suddenly deal with all this other stuff too. So let's see, looks like we're in this like security room kind of thing. This feels a little bit copy and pasted from a previous security room, I guess. But that's not bad. That's how you do it. Press. I think I have to pull that giant flashing glowing switch. I think that's important. Anything else to look at? No, I don't think. Oh, there's this red button, but I have to go all the way around to activate it. Let's see if it's worth it. Oh, okay. Well, you know, life is full of disappointment. And it also looks like, I mean, it looks like the cord has been cut on this Switch anyway. So, you know, it's fine. It's my fault, really. Oh, hello. Hello, McLoganog. Yes, this is another big funicular kind of thing. As we talked about many months ago in the chapter Unforeseen Consequences, which is another chapter featuring a funicular, level designers love funiculars. Level designers love these slanted climbing elevator things because they're just very industrial looking, very cool looking. You know, it's a typology you don't really see usually in real life that much. Although, I mean, I've been in one funicular in real life. That's the one in Paris. You can take the funicular up to the Sacré-Cœur in Paris. But yeah, I can't say there's that many real life funiculars out there. You're very lucky and blessed if you happen to live near one. Okay, let's go ahead and press this button and descend. Oh, and yes, as McLognog says in the chat, you know, in the original Half-Life, the funicular in Unforeseen Consequences is heavily inspired by a funicular sequence in the movie Akira. This one doesn't look so inspired. This one just has a lot of trim. I mean, okay, maybe this is my one critique of Jean-Paul's style in Lambda Core, which is you're gonna see a lot of trim. I think I would say he kind of over trimmed everything. You know, a lot of trim is nice because what's nice about trim is that it gives a very like sleek, futuristic, very put together, constructed feeling to a space. You know, if you want something feeling dirty or messy a little bit, you would just gonna try to snipe these head crabs. I think that's what most players would do, right? You wouldn't walk up to these head crabs. It's just weird that they're just stuck there they're like leashed to the top of this box. Shouldn't they like leap down or climb down? It's a little sad. They're kind of like Quake monsters. That's Oh, were they leashed there on purpose that the bull squid approaches them? Bull squids love to eat head crabs because head crabs are just very tasty. So maybe that was like on purpose to try to set up a little fun encounter. Yeah, maybe you need some monster. You can just teleport another bull squid? That's a little bit weird. And then, of course, the fight here is very easy because we have... Oh, there's another head crab on top of this crate. The fight is pretty easy because I have so much room to I mean, I got careless and got hit by one of them, but for the most part, it's pretty easy. And then projectiles are very easy to dodge the more distance there is, right? So another bull squid, what? It just like sauntered in. It's a little bit silly. I think I'm gonna use my B gun. I don't think this fight isn't... I don't know, this fight feels a little bit silly. Oh, am I playing on easy mode? What am I playing on? Oh, I'm playing on normal mode. I think the fight here has nothing to do with the skill level. Skill level in Half-Life is mostly changing your weapon damage values and your health values. Maybe Black Mesa Source, it changes the AI up a little bit, but for the most part, I feel like this fight would have played out pretty much the same way on hard mode, because I think this was mostly a problem of setting up the encounter. try hard mode, John Scotta is saying to me in the chat. Oh, I'm on Black Mesa mode, actually. So, you know, I'm here. I'm playing this game the way it was intended. Not that that's a real thing, but... Sometimes it is the level designer's fault. Speaking as a level designer. Okay, what else is going on here? Oh god, and look at all this... Look at all these stains. It's disgusting. Okay. Let's see what else is going on here. I like how the space here is pretty big and open. It kind of gives you space to just wander around and explore. Not that there's much really to do here. This door is locked. Is this like a secret bonus thing I'm supposed to sneak into? I don't really see any way. Maybe I can like jump on top of something. I don't think I can lift any of these crates. I can lift one of them. Can I like... Is this like a sneaky bonus thing I can do? Is there something up here? No, it looks like life is just full of disappointment, I think. Oh well. Let's just go ahead and no-clip into this room and see what's there. Does it keep turning off my cheats? And it looks like this is just a copy and paste of the security room from like 3 minutes ago. So, oh well. Too bad. Let's see, anything else? Okay, so this is another hallmark of Jean-Paul's style that I'm kind of conflicted on a little bit, where he just puts a lot of pipes everywhere. Lambda Core is just full of so many pipes. Like a lot of this screenshot right here is pipes. And I think... I personally like pipes. I like how they're curvy and round. One reason why I think level designers and environment artists like pipes is because they're curved, they can catch a lot of reflection and specular and cube map stuff, and that makes them look nice and fancy, right? Look at how the gloss and sheen is kind of reflecting on these pipes. But I think the downside of it is that they also feel kind of repetitive if you don't break them up too much, right? So here you can just tell it's very copied and pasted a little bit too much. I think these days in like a 2020 AAA game, if they go to town on the pipes, they'll have a lot more variation with the pipe segments. And they probably wouldn't stack 4 pipes in a row. At most, they would probably do like one big pipe and then one small pipe, maybe, or like 2 medium pipes or something. You definitely try to get some asymmetry going on with your pipes. Otherwise, again, the repetitiveness just feels a little bit unrealistic, even though it's perfectly realistic. Actually, that's not the problem. The problem is not plausibility. The problem is that we can see the repetition of the pipe prop over and over. And then when you do that in a big room, you know, you start recognizing it just over and over everywhere and everywhere. But that's okay, pipes are our friends. So I like the size of this room. Ooh, what's this? Oh. I like how there's like little nooks and stuff to explore and look into, but on the whole, this is, yeah, just like a warehouse kind of room with a bunch of boxes. It's just kind of a box with more boxes inside, which is not considered the most inspired thing to do in level design usually. But, you know, it's okay. Because, you know, I mean, it makes sense that this would be a warehouse type room. It's like a loading dock with a funicular with a funicular and like a cargo truck. So maybe it makes sense that this is like a warehouse type room. Let's keep going and see what else is there. Oh yes, but yeah, as McLoganog notes in the chat, that's pretty authentic to the original Half-Life. If you play through the original Half-Life, it's a lot of warehouses with boxes in the middle. Because that's kind of just what level design was, and that's kind of what level design still is, thanks to cover shooters. Okay, now we're just crawling through here. Oh, and then here we see a, this is going to be a fun encounter. This is, I think one of the best parts of Lambda Core. This is like a big room full of containers, and ideally, a savvy Half-Life player will remember the last time they were in a big room full of all these containers, which was an assassin fight in, I believe, Surface Tension Chapter. So right here, we have all these containers, and it looks kind of ominous and shadowy with a lot of vulnerable sightlines. So hopefully a player starts feeling, uh-oh, this feels like a big monster arena. This is a little bit scary. What's gonna happen? So let's see what happens. Oh my god, ouch, jeez. Okay. Oh my god. Wow, assassins are really hard to fight. I forget how to fight them. I think they're just gonna kill the hell out of me. I think I'm just gonna die now. Okay, so that's not the way you fight assassins, right? They'll just kill you. Let's try another strategy. So I think most players, instead of doing the run and gun, once they try to do run and gun, you'll try to do, I think, oh, let's try the B gun. Come on, bees, get them. I don't think the bees are helping. It's really hard to even tell where the assassins are shooting you from, too. Because they shoot you from pretty long range with a little pistol that doesn't have any muzzle flash or tracers on it, really. So usually when they're shooting at you, you don't even know where they are. Okay, so B gun did not work out. Let's try a different weapon. I think we could try rocket launcher, but I feel like the rocket launcher would not work well because they have a height advantage. And also, so there's nothing to detonate the rocket against. And if I'm just trying to home the rocket in on it really fast, they're too small, right? And they move too fast. So I'm pretty sure rocket launcher wouldn't work. Any type of sniping weapon, that's partly why the MP5 doesn't work, right? So the B gun didn't work. So I think at this point, most players would probably turn to explosive weapons. So grenades, I feel like wouldn't work because the time delay on them would take too long. Here, I think we can either try, we could try a satchel charge if we're able to trick them. Oh, people in the chat are saying to use the really fast snipey weapons like a revolver. Or we can try trip mines. Let's try these trip mines and see what happens. Ouch, where are they? Oh. Did I not place my trip mines very well? We can also just hide behind here and see what happens. And then maybe they'll and maybe they'll just accidentally trigger a trip mine. That's probably the... Oh yeah, I should probably use the snipey thing on the revolver. I think, personally, I think when I was first playing Half-Life, I think that was my main strategy. I would put trip mines and then run away and fall back and hide behind the corner and then wait for them to try to path towards me and accidentally kill themselves, so... So, yeah. Assassin fights. I remember really liking them in the original. I think for some reason they're not quite hitting me well. Maybe my tastes have changed, or maybe I don't quite like the adjustments that Black Mesa Source has done to the enemy design here. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm feeling. Maybe we'll keep thinking about it. I think they just feel kind of unforgiving a little bit in a way that the original ones did not. Keep in mind that the AI in the original Half-Life 1 could not do two things at once, right? And I think that was an important factor in how the Grunt AI was fun to fight, and I think that's also kind of an important factor to how the assassin fights play out. Here the AI is just kind of always doing a lot. Which is, you know, it's difficult to know what the AI state is, or it's difficult to know what the AI is thinking. Compare this to a game like Halo, where the AI is constantly trying to tell you what they're thinking. But the other problem, yeah, as Victor and Fire Pengu in the chat note, environments in modern games are just so much busier, right? It's so hard to even know what's going on, especially if something's sniping you from off in the distance and everything is so dark and shadowy. If this was a Counter-Strike map, for instance, every player would be complaining about how dark it is, how busy everything is, how it's impossible to read silhouettes, right? You'll recall that when I was fighting, the introduction to these assassins is when you walk out of this little room right here, and they are all perched on top of this yellow container, right? And then they're also crouched, so they have a height advantage. They're crouched. There's some busy stuff behind them. There's just, yeah, a lot of stuff and visual noise going on. So anyway, I think readability-wise, there's probably more you could do with this to try to help surface what the AI and monsters are thinking here. And the level design, as nice as it looks, like I think I like the variety of the colors here. I think the overall the metrics and the proportions between all the passageways between these containers feel kind of fun and plausible to like snake around in, right? These are all like back alleys we're like running around in. But I think just the way the snipers are set up is it's just so hard to know what they're doing. I feel like it would be more fun to fight grunts in this arena. But, you know, that's just me. Okay, let's keep going here. Does that do anything? Oh, brought this elevator down? Why is there an elevator here? Why not just take the stairs? Oh, there's an assassin here. Oh, uh-oh, that did not go well. Oh, there's a little gas tank there. Where is it? Oh. Oh my god. Ah! Okay, there we go. Oh, the ragdoll's kind of creepy. Oh god. Oh, okay. Was I supposed to shoot that gas tank, I guess? What's in there? Okay, I guess that's nothing. Any assassins sneaking around here? Any assassins in here? Ha! Oh. Oops. Pretty generous with the health and supplies here. Not sure the point of this, but oh well. Any assassins on the catwalks? Doesn't it spawn assassins down there? Isn't that how this fight goes? I don't remember. Oh, why do I have to sneak awkwardly through? Oh well. Huh, I thought for sure something was gonna happen, right? That's a little bit strange. I thought I was gonna do like another fight or something, right? It's so ominous, right? Why? I mean, on one hand, yeah, Trundle's bot is correct. It is kind of fun to see the overview. I think most 2020 games would probably do this the opposite way. Probably have a start on the catwalks so that we can see the assassin, so that we can see like the whole structure of it, plan what we're going to do, and then descend down there. But now, yeah, as people are arguing in the chat, like Fire Pengu, yeah, maybe when you have these long stretches, this is kind of like a soft level design gate, so that if we were trying to do a speed run of this, where we're just running away from the assassins, we would still suffer quite a bit of a health hit, because there's very little cover here. Although, maybe it wouldn't have been that bad, right? Because, you know, like, if you crouch here, nah, it probably would have been better to just run. It's to discourage you from just making a run for it. Because then the assassins would just hop on top of these containers and snipe at you. And then they have these hit scan pistols. Ah, it's so awkward to platform on top of the physics. There we go. But, you know, we killed all the baddies, so... oh well. Oh, that flow was really weird. We went... we were on the lower level of that warehouse, then we went up the stairs, went up the elevator, then we went on the catwalk, and we took this elevator back down. It's kind of... the like macro flow of that section feels strange to me. Also, a lot of armor. Okay. Oh, I think this is a big grunt and alien grunt fight. Is this what happens? It's gonna spawn a bunch of monsters on me. Just throw some grenades. Wow, those grenades did not do like anything. Oh, and then they do some back spawning. Interesting. I liked the combat. Oh, and then the ladder comes down. Let's see. Yeah, I kind of liked how that worked. I feel like that made sense, right? So first there were some breadcrumbs here. I walked up here. It spawned some enemies. You run and gun them. Then the alien grunt opened the bay doors, right? That's what that gesture means. That's only what that gesture means. And then you go here, and then you're at this dead end, right? So then you have to turn around, and when you turn around, you see the enemies that they backspawned behind you. So I think that worked pretty well. I think the only problem with this encounter, I think the level designer did a good job here, and it's pretty faithful, I think, to the original. I think the weakness here is just the way Black Mesa does the alien AI, where it's just super easy to dodge all their shots constantly. The human military AI in Black Mesa is just way too intense and tuned to be way too difficult, I think. And the alien grunt AI is just really toothless and can barely hurt you. The Vortigaunt lightning is really easy to dodge in Black Mesa, and then for some reason the bees, the hive hand in Black Mesa Source, I feel like always just follows a very straight path and never quite homes in on you. Which is just a bit of a shame because you consider the Quake monsters these were based on, right? Which is the Shambler and the Vor with the homing shot in the original Quake. And those monsters are just so, like, a lot more interesting to fight, I think, and a lot more, like, dangerous when you, like, encounter them. It's just kind of funny that it's kind of the same attack type, but it doesn't... but feels strange to me.
I apologize, Dr. Freeman, but I'm sure you understand that I...
But anyway, nice room. And yeah, it feels very faithfully remade. Okay, now begins the clean Lambda Core style here.
Lambda complex. Every other has been sealed off to contain the invasion. When we realized that you might actually make it here, we drew straws to see who would stay behind and let you through. Obviously, I drew the short one. My colleagues are waiting at the tip of the Lambda reactor. Waiting for you, I mean.
Waiting for you? I mean, obviously they're waiting for me.
But you can activate it on your way up. You'll have to flood the core anyway to get into the teleportation labs. You're not authorized to know about those, but I can see you already know a great deal more than any one man is supposed to. The remaining members of the science team are waiting for you in the teleportation labs.
Let's backtrack. Did we miss any cool spots? Oh, and then there's like a little bit of environmental storytelling. Oh. Where there's like a temporary little triage center here. But it seems like that guy was just eating, was like a cannibal. I think, is that the real story here? Like, where's the rest of their bodies? It's just very suspicious. You know what? You know what we do to cannibals in this game? That's what we do to cannibals. Frontier justice. He was definitely a cannibal. Definitely a cannibal. I'm not sorry. Okay, so let's talk about this new texture kind of treatment here. let's see. Here. So this is like a big meaty room where Jean Paul is showing off. Ooh, look at all these gratuitous elevators. I like it. Totally just showing off. And then these gratuitous stairs with this gratuitous little mezzanine. I'm kind of into it. I kind of like this style too. There's a there's a little bit more showing off here. Notice how the construction here is it's off angle, right? It's not in 90-degree angles, so that's JP trying to like show off a little bit, and I mean it's working. I like it, right? Recall that usually when we're doing when you're doing level design in this kind of era of CSG BSB level construction, usually avoid off angle, off 90 non-orthogonal construction. So whenever you slant a hallway like this, it's such a huge pain in the ass, the bad kind of pain in the ass, where it's you have to like manually rotate all the textures and stuff. A lot of level designers choose not to bother with it, right? And you probably see this in a lot of previous chapters. But here, this level designer is just doing a little bit of a flourish. And I think that's kind of how I want to emphasize how we can be reading these levels. When I'm doing these streams, I'm trying to offer how and so much armor and health too. I'm trying to offer how a typical player might play through a lot of these missions, because that's part of what the work you have to do in level design. But I also want to emphasize that when designers are building their levels, they're also building for other designers, right? Every level is like a little conversation, like a little like dance battle against another level designer, right? So when I see this, I'm like, oh damn, JP, like, wow, you nice hallway, good angles, right? It's like dancing about architecture. It is dancing about architecture. And you can see JP's also very meticulous with his angle, with his texture alignment. Like, look at how meticulous it is. He aligns everything always, right? The rivets are always just on the edge. He has like a special trim texture variant for these shorter column like wall segment things. I think I made this wall texture. I don't quite remember. I made this door texture. That's why it kind of sucks. That's why it kind of has this Photoshop bevel effect on it. I probably should have done that better. I'm sorry. Let's see. I think my critique here is that I don't like this incline. I think this incline is a little bit too much. I don't think you really need this here. Like why? I think there's too many doors here. Like, let's count all the doors along this path. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like 10. Like, there's just so many doors here. I think it's a little bit too much. I probably wouldn't have done a guitar solo with all these doors. I probably would have held back a little bit more. Because first of all, it's just a little bit silly having all these doors. It also makes the task, the like diegetic task purpose of this room a little bit unclear, right? It looks like it's a loading area because you have all this cargo, you have this cool, whatever these are called, this cool like forklift mover thingy. You have all these cool cargo elevator things. impeccably constructed. Look at all that trim. Very clean construction. But then, like, you just have all these millions of locked doors going nowhere. It's a little bit silly, I think. Ooh. And then we go through here.
Were you in weapons research too? I built the gluon gun, but I just can't bring myself to use it on another living creature. It doesn't appear that you have any trouble killing things. You can take her with you, but please promise to put her to good use.
Now, okay. People in the chat are going to be telling me not to kill this scientist, right? But the thing is, here in the original Half-Life and in this version,
I'm sure you'll have plenty of opportunities to test her in the field, but you can practice in the shooting range.
the level designer clearly wants you to pick up this gun, do this, and like, oh, okay, yeah, do the...
I can't see how this could possibly be.
Okay, shoot that. Shoot that. You see how powerful it is?
Your saliva is acidic.
And it's all very fun, but I bet you, if you check the stats on this, 99% of players, I swear to you, almost definitely did this, right? Because the game clearly wants you to do that. And if you don't do what the game wants you to do, aren't you just a bad gamer at that point? So therefore, you have to do that, right? You know, it's even the writer wants you to do that, right? Just listen to all that dialogue where he's like, "Oh yes, use the gun in the test range." They want you to think about all this, and then they want to give you that opportunity for like mischief or something, right? Listen, I understand this because this is what I do in my sex games all the time, right? It's when a video game is like, oh, don't do that. No, please don't, right? But seriously, the game gives you so much ammo at this point. Like, they really want you to kill the scientist, okay? Oh, and that's just like a fake ladder. Okay. Anyway, that's my argument. Heard me out. What's that? What? What is... Okay, so... So, you know, if you've watched me, you know one peeve I have about a lot of contemporary level design is storytelling, is environmental storytelling, right? Where I'm deeply skeptical about how we frame environmental storytelling, about whether typical environmental storytelling in video games even makes for a good story or even fulfills our ideas of what a story is, right? And here, what is the story? Okay, someone was piling up all the desks and boxes, and they got really sleepy, so they drank all this takeout coffee or something, or was that soda or something? And then they left them there. Like, is that the story we're supposed to imagine happened here? It's just really... I don't know. I wish we took environmental storytelling further than placing clutter on the ground. I think there's more to it than that, right? There's got to be more to it than that. Oh, I made this wall texture, though. It's a nice wall texture, right? Why, yes, Robert, it is a nice wall texture. Congratulations. Ooh, I like how the door broke when it opened. That's cool. Okay, so now we enter like the first half of Lambda Complex. And this is pretty, I think, faithfully rebuilt, right? It's this is kind of this hub area we're gonna be kind of crisscrossing through a few times. Um, Although we might have to end a little bit early, we might not have time to do much than explore this hub area. And then they're also trying to set this up by having this giant sign here with these flashing lights. So this is trying to give you a little bit of this like objective and goal, right? But it's kind of a hand wavy refrigerator logic, video game logic thing, right? Okay, our goal is to meet the scientist's friends, right? Assuming we even remember what that guy said 5-10 minutes ago. But how does any of that relate to any of this, right? So to get to the friends, that means we have to get to the auxiliary coolant tank. How does any of that follow, right? So it doesn't really make that much sense, I think. I think that's partly. Maybe that's not such a bad thing that it doesn't make sense either. Because there's just a certain video game logic, right? Just go to the place that is gated off, and that's probably your destination. But I think in contemporary level design, there's a tendency for narrative designers to look at that scenario I just described, right? The player does not understand why going to the auxiliary coolant tank, how that connects to going to the other teleport laboratory, right? How do those two objectives connect? That doesn't make sense. So then a narrative designer would be like, well, that means we have to make it much more clear to the player, right? So either the sign would be more detailed, that's why you start getting all these objective indicators or quest logs like on your screen or something. There's just maybe it's okay to leave some things unexplained. More of like a free association thing. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe I'm just rambling. In the chat, Trundlespot mentions an example of environmental storytelling that they do like is in Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. I think that was the. Oh my god! Oh, my babies. In Deus Ex: Mankind Divided, you have a boss NPC, and then you can break into his apartment. And spoiler alert, he's a gay. And what are those guys doing? And then when you break in, you can look at all his family photos and stuff, and then you find out why his marriage fell apart and stuff. And you can read his emails and stuff. So I would say that's like an environmental storytelling that makes a little bit more sense, because why else would you break into your boss's apartment, right? Because you want to know more about his sad gay story, his tragic sad gay story. Although, I mean, don't feel too bad for him, right? He's a homo nationalist, right? He's working for the equivalent of this CIA government agency, right? So he's a neoliberal gay. He's not really queer or anything. Don't worry. Anyway, so it makes sense why you would break into his apartment and why that would be part of the buy-in and fantasy of breaking into his apartment. Meanwhile, what's the fantasy of exploring Lambda Core, of this weird nuclear reactor coolant thing, right? What is that? So the fantasy of breaking into this science lab thing is that there's coffee cups on the floor? What is that? what does that even... So here, like, what are the environmental stories that we would tell about sneaking into the crawl spaces of a big science building? I don't know. I guess we'd find out about the science they're doing, right? That's kind of what the previous lab spaces have done in this game so far. Where... Shouldn't it spawn some enemies? This is like an empty arena. A little bit sad not to fight anything. So in the previous lab spaces, you know, you find out the kind of science they're doing, you find out the experiments here. I guess here the fantasy would be, let's be like a reactor technician or something. Is that like a fun thing to do? I don't really know where I'm going. I'm just getting lost here. Am I supposed to jump on these pipes? Oh no, that's just more armor. I don't really even need any armor, really. Ooh, look at these shiny pipes. They're so shiny. Okay, so that's a dead end. Guess we have to go down this maintenance station. Wait, but before we do that, I should probably talk a little bit about the design here. Okay, so I think this room is pretty good. I think here is where the trim is validated. Here the trim is useful for setting up this cool like overhang, like overlapping cantilever like mast thing that's hanging over us. I think the trims are also good for counteracting this like industrial looking like crane thingy, this like gantry crane thing. Oh yeah, there's a lot of gantry cranes in this chapter. There's some nice use of color here, where the coolant is like this weird otherworldly blue glowy thingy. And the portal like tile texture there is nice. It's like, it actually looks very inviting. It's almost like a very nice, it's like a pool that I just want to dive into. Also nice job on the particles, whoever did that, right? I think that's from episode 2. Where everything just blends in pretty well. And then that kind of baby blue kind of thing works pretty well with some of the color coding they're doing. So throughout this chapter, you're going to see there's like gray walls, there's yellow walls, there's blue walls. And that kind of contributes to this submarine science-y kind of lab facility feel to it. Let's see, what else are we doing? Oh, there's like a little... There's a wheel here. Oh, it's a fake wheel. Never mind. Oh, and then lastly here, I think all these pipes, this set of 3 pipes works. 3 is a good number of pipe. 4 pipes, too many. Stop. No more pipes. But 3, you know, leaves of 3, let it be. Pipes of 3, let it be. Pipes of 4, please no more. That's the pipe rule. That's the rule of pipes. Let's walk down here too, because I like these machines too. Although I think my critique of this is this looks like brushwork, and because it's brushwork, this like weird fin thingy is kind of, yeah. It's oh wait no, this looks like a static prop. Looks like maybe it was proper. Maybe they ran the brushwork through proper. It looks like it's a static mesh. But without any ambient occlusion or grunge here, the way this intersects and meets with this shape just feels kind of weird. Like, you would have to forgive me for thinking this was brushwork with the, like, lack of shading here. So I think this could use a little bit of an art pass, put a little bit more, like, greeble, put, like, a weird control panel thing, like, right there. And then I think it would feel perfect. Feel awesome. But I think right now it feels a little bit underbaked and underdone. You can do a little bit more there. Let's see. Ooh. It's a little jumping puzzle here. Pick up a little bit of ammo. The item placement in this is really messed up. I think it's like way too much armor, way too much ammo for the monsters they're throwing at us. A little bit strange. I think, let's see. Then we have these hallways. I'm personally not a big fan of these hallways, I think. I think, oh, and then they're like slanted. They're like angled. Look at that. But then, you know, you need these crossbars here to hide the texture seam. And that's ultimately why, like, whenever you're like playing, whenever you're like going in like any kind of like mine shaft tunnel type setting in a video game, you'll probably notice all these like brackets and crossbar things. Part of that is to, like, you know, help you measure distances and give you like a sensation of movement and progress. But the real environment art reason why you do that is to hide the texture seams and the geometry seams between all the tunnel segments. So to me, that's kind of how, that's the feeling I always get whenever I see all the repetition of all these wall supports here. Like, do you really need all that? I think what really makes them pop out too much is it's just too much contrast in the end. Here we have kind of these gray mid-tone walls, and then a fairly on the brighter mid-tones on these like wall segments up here, and then these curved brackets here are just way too dark. It's like 25% gray versus this 50% gray and this 75% gray. And it's not clear why you need all that contrast here, right? Why is this important? Well, it's not really important, so why do you have the contrast there? So I think the fix here to me would be to just go into the albedo for this prop and crank up the values by like 50% just so it melds more into the wall, because otherwise it just reads as two separate, and then I don't know why I'm having to read them as separate. Oh god, I was gonna shoot him. Wait, why is he... My finger slipped. He aimed at me too. I was just protecting myself. He was threatening me. He was pointing a loaded firearm. Oh my god, look at all this ammo. Why do I need... It's more ammo, more suppositories.
And then that access pipe down there will take you on to the core. Hurry on now, son. Time is short. Both pump stations have been positively overrun. Take these supplies and hurry.
Wait, what am I supposed to do here? Why did I have to come down here? Did I have to, like, press a button? I don't get it.
Fat lot of good that PhD does me now,
Where am I supposed to go now? I don't get it. Oh, now I have to backtrack for some reason? Is that what I'm supposed to do? I don't really get it. Oh, so I was just exploring that. He told me I have to dive into the water? Is that what he told me to do? I don't remember. I never really listened. Oh, right, I'm supposed to go in here. Okay. Oh, the sprinklers are going off. Did I do that? I wonder if they're dynamic. I think it's been about an hour, so I think I'm gonna have to stop here, unfortunately. Ooh, and then just as the monster comes into view. I'm gonna go ahead and stop here. Probably next week we will go ahead and probably maybe finish Lambda Core. No, probably get through the middle of Lambda Core, and we're probably gonna have to do that jumping section in like yet another week too. So it's probably 2 more weeks to Lambda Core, I'm guessing. But anyway, thanks everyone for hanging out. Oh God, hope you enjoyed my weird nitpicking and weird fixations on certain random things. And see you next week. Have a good rest of your day, everyone. Bye.